Hello, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize my hair was this bad. Uh, I took my bike to this redistricting meeting that I'm going to tell you about uh, because, according to the radar, right, it was supposed to be just a quick squall that went through, and then it was supposed to be done by 5 o'clock, right? I assumed that the meeting would be kind of long. So short answer is I got wet. I got helmet head, but I didn't really spruce myself up because that wasn't important. Look, a lot of people showed up to this redistricting meeting, and they made their voices heard. Let's start with that. There were a lot of people. And when I say I took notes for you, we're looking at, I think, 10, 11 pages of notes from all the speakers that came up. I'm not going to go through all 11 pages, but there are some things that I did want to point out. Many times gerrymandering was brought up. Lee Morris from Indiana Citizens Redistricting Commission stood up, and one of the things he said, that he's part of a group that has 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, and 3 independents, right? And they actually look at the maps and they try to come up with a fair and equitable distribution for these districts. They're actually offering a map drawing contest. So if somebody is interested, I guess it's you can find them on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly what the website is, but they said you just look up Indiana Citizens Redistricting Commission. I'll have to check that out. Chris Harris, also from the Citizens Redistricting Commission, says that a lot of people feel their legislators were in safe districts and that their votes and voices don't matter. Senator Lonnie Randolph, he started off with talking about the Milwaukee Bucks and how they won because they recruited better people. And then he's confused why there are 7 Republicans and 2 Democrats, and the only reason it should be that way is because they redrew the maps. Marion, Lake, and Allen are the biggest counties, and he echoes what many more people are going to say. Why is this not being held in Lake County? Lake County is the second biggest county in Indiana, and he felt, along with many other residents, that this should have been held in Lake County. Now, as someone who does not live in either Lake or Porter counties, I will say I like the fact that it was in Porter County. It would have been nice, obviously, to have one in every county, but that's a lot. I mean, 92, 93 counties in Indiana. I'd have to look it up, honestly. 90 something. But I understand what these people are saying. Lake County does have a huge population. Why are you ignoring Lake County? Blah, blah, blah. I get it. But I think if you're going to have a Northwest Indiana or Northern Indiana meeting, and I've said this before, Porter County is the logical choice for, in my opinion, Lake, Porter, LaPorte counties. It's nice and centralized. It's easy for me to get to. It's easy for Lake County to get to. But anyway, Senator Randolph also said that he talks a lot, but only selectively when he sees injustice, that he wants fairness, and to everyone that was there, primarily the legislators that held this, let's be winners for Indiana. They took a few moments recess to fix the mic because the live stream viewers, which I don't have that link for you. I'm sorry. If I get it, then if anybody has it, feel free to drop it in the comments. I don't have it. I haven't been able to find it yet. So, excuse me. Steve Nowatzki from Munster Town Council said people can tell when someone is being disingenuous, that he actually enjoys working across the aisle with people, and he thinks that most actual legislators, regardless of party, feel the same way. Let's see here. Evan Davis from Fort Wayne said that the Fort Wayne area in particular should have 4 legislators, but they only have 3. He talks about the Fort Wayne area being broken up, and they'll take like a part of Fort Wayne and then include a big rural area, take a part of Fort Wayne and include a big rural area. He doesn't think that that's fair, but at the same point, this was interesting. He said there's a lot of talk about fair elections. Now, this is a direct quote, and I think a lot of that is hooey, he said. To him, there is no fairer way to ensure that there's a fair election than by making a fair map. That Indiana is not known for progressive legislation. I'd like to interject, no, Indiana is not known for progressive legislation because we have a conservative majority. But that, according to him, we should have independent maps, and that independent maps should be brought to the board, and they should vote on them. Let's see here. Robert Cotton from Valpo City Government says that we lose accountability when elected officials pick their voters. It makes people think that their votes don't count. When you speak about diversity, you're racist and cause problems. That's what he said. I guess he's talking about, and anytime people want to talk about diversity, they're called racist and they're divisive. Let's see here. They think, Cotton said that there should be an independent series of maps that are sent to the legislators, and the legislature should vote on that. He says that there's a fear for how uncompetitive our elections are. Open up the process to free and fair elections. So the next person that got up is Susie Tilveski. And for what it's worth, I may be butchering these names. I did the best I could. She was a very angry lady, very angry. The entire time, matter of fact, let me see if I can bring her up. She was yelling. She was not talking. She was definitely yelling. Let's see here. There's something I want to share with you after, but let me get to here. Let me bring you in the mood here. Let me show you what I was dealing with here. Is that the right one? Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So I was sitting, obviously behind the seat directly in front of you. Took pictures of everyone that was up there, some zoomed in stuff. I tried to, like I said in the post, I started taking pictures, but it was really easier for me to just focus on taking comprehensive notes so that I could kind of tell you what happened rather than, pictures. But these are all the people I got the ones that I could. It tells you who these people are that were sitting up there. So let's see here. Here she is. So this is Susie Tilveski. And as you can see by the pictures that I took of her, she was very animated and was quite upset. That's not her. That's someone else. So according to her, and this is a direct quote, Republicans have done a great job of destroying this state. Gerrymandering is an abomination. According to her, we are at the bottom of the barrel in every single quality of life. Now, several people said this. I don't know what data they're using. I have no idea because no one presented, according to this study or that study or this magazine or anything like that. It was just, we're at the bottom. Then she got angry and pointed directly to Ed Soliday and said, Soliday isn't paying attention. When Cotton was here, he was on his phone. I guess that's her representative. She was very, very angry with Soliday. The wheel of life always turns. The region is the economic heart of this state. Again, we need an independent. According to her, nursing homes, foster care, and mother mortality are all horrible in Indiana. Again, I don't know what she's using for that, but I don't doubt it. Then we had Carolyn Jackson from Hammond. They want fair. We want fair redistricting. We're tired of being in the bottom. She said that she looked at the stats, and in the last election, there were 40 people running against approximately 100 legislators. Now, that's really important because regardless of party, there's a lack of people on the ballot. And that's a problem because as someone who, got out there and put my name out there and ran for office and have every intention of doing it again, we need more people on the ballot. We need more regular Americans on the ballot so that people can make an informed decision about who they want to represent them. And we can get into why there are so few people on the ballot and all of that, but I wholeheartedly agree that we need more people on the ballot. According to her, the reason there are so few is because they know the deck is stacked against them, and the people up there won't have to worry about getting reelected if you do your job. All these tricks will come back at you. Let's do the right thing. Don Briggs from NAACP, I don't know which one. I don't know if it's Gary chapter or there were several and I missed, so I'm sure you can look them up. He wants them to focus on competitive districts. I don't know what that says. My handwriting really got sloppy right there, but ultimately reduces voter trust. One thing he did point out is that we are 42 out of 50 states, 42nd place for turnout. That's bothersome. He also said extremism by both parties doesn't work for our side, and it's beginning to not work for Republicans. In general, he said that party extremism, all the way to the right or all the way to the left, is bad. And I could absolutely agree with that. There are many, many times when we need to meet in the middle on things. Barbara Williams is Indiana NAACP. She's from Gary, Lake County. She said she has seen the harm when a supermajority occurs. She feels like Democrats, representatives, and the people in general have been very disrespected. She didn't give any examples. She just said that it's obvious. I don't know. She said that I think it is her, that we need to conform to Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act because it is actually illegal to district based on race and all of that. Let's see here. She said she attended several meetings by Common Cause and other groups, and that it would behoove the legislators to look at some unbiased mapping ideas. Robert Buggs from NAACP and Gary said he's from Gary. I don't know if it's making the districts is legal. It is completely up to the legislative body on how to create the districts. However, gerrymandering is illegal, and he's absolutely correct there. He's a disabled vet, by the way, and he said he fought for this flag. The Pledge of Allegiance includes liberty and justice for all, and he wants that to include the black and brown people. He wants us to mean it when we claim indivisible. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. We should all be Americans, not this American or that American. Barbara Shaw, I think I'm saying that wrong. I guess she's co-founder, co-chair, co-leader of the League of Women Voters of LaPorte County. Quote, for the sake of our democracy, fair and equitable voting districts are important. And all these things I agree with. Transparent process engages voters to ensure transparency, allow the public to submit maps, and listen to independents so that we can make a fair map. Let's see. Oh, she also called for them to disclose the contracts with any consultants that they use to make the maps. I think that's a good idea. Barbara, I did not catch her last name. A new Barbara. Yay for the Crossroads of America. redistricting should focus on the people, not the politicians. Now, she did give an interesting figure here. And again, she didn't point out where it's from, but she said that according to the maps, and she's looked at all the maps or something, that Indiana's district maps are 95% more partisan than other maps. And according to her, in 2011, no one wanted to talk about the maps. Independent citizen input. Let's see. The stats are not something we're proud of. We want the maps, blah, blah, blah. And I do agree with that. One of the issues for this meeting was that there were no maps yet. There's no census data yet. This is just to hear from the people. And while it's great, it's fantastic that we have something like this where people can come and give their opinions, because I believe that that's critically important to our republic. People kept saying democracy. That really bothers me. We're a republic. Look it up if you don't believe me. I know most of you watching this know the difference, but ultimately, I think it's really important that we have additional meetings when we have data, when we have maps, when we have something to look at. But there were a couple of people that, let's see, I don't know if I'm there yet. Let me continue through and I might have missed it. But so Dennis McCafferty, he said in 2010, 2011, we were promised certain things. We were told, the people were told, oh, don't worry about it. These maps are going to be fair. These districts are going to be, equitable. And he says that was not the case. He's president, I think, of the Northern Indiana Labor Federation. As soon as he said that, he said, and look what happened. We're a right to work state. Quality of life has declined. Make sure the map is fair. Do the right thing. Make a fair map. Tim Jaycox got up and said he made a really good point. I will say he said that we should treat everyone with respect, because some of the people were getting they were getting pretty angry, and I think the moderator did a really good job of for the most part keeping it civil. But one thing that he said, and he asked the legislators, he said, I want you to think about this. If the roles are reversed, if they were reversed, what would you want? How would you want the district? Would you want the districts fair if the roles were reversed and there was a Democrat supermajority? Wouldn't you want it to be, what would you want done? He also talked about how Dvorak's seat is a legacy seat. It was his father's before him. It's his now. And the way that the district is set up, it's likely it's going to stay that way. That makes it very hard to win an election. And I agree with him. James Builder, who's a retired teacher. Now, this is the first one that, said something kind of positive about Indiana. He said he moved here a year ago from Illinois, and he's glad that he did. He said we're number 7 for opportunity in the United States. Number 7. That's out of 50 states, man. That's really good. SCOTUS ruled that legislators control the districts, and that's simply the way it is. I agree with him. Indiana is, in my opinion, filled with opportunity if you choose to make that happen, as it were. He did say that he's quite happy with the way that for the most part, obviously there are issues, but in general, he's quite happy with the Republican supermajority and the way that they are leading Indiana. Ken Taylor from Valpo, he said he's been in politics for 45 years. Always be careful what you ask for. So one of the things that he was talking about, I'm going to kind of just quickly summarize. Basically, he was saying, okay, all you people that are from Lake County that are, for example, and I guess I haven't gotten to it yet, or I didn't write it down, but basically there were several people that said leave District 1 alone, Congressional District 1. We like it just the way it is. Basically, they like having the Democrat supermajority, or majority at least, in 1st District Congress, right? We like it. Leave it alone. Okay. He said, now be careful what you ask for, because those of you that are happy with District 1 and the way that it's drawn, you want fair and equitable districts, you want competitive elections. Well, if this board, if the group of legislators, they draw the map and suddenly, they decide to take Lake County and essentially District 1 and turn it into a competitive district by, drawing it this way and drawing it that way, you're not going to be happy, right? The same people that are happy with the way District 1 is right now are the very same ones that are complaining about districting along party lines and whatnot. He does say, though, he's like, let's not break up cities and counties and towns. Let's try to keep them intact, because people move to these cities, these towns, these counties for a reason. Right? People live in Lake County for a reason, and people got the heck out of Lake County for a reason, right? Anyway, he says it is very rarely possible to follow all the principles and end up with something that won't be challenged, right? All these maps are going to be challenged. Terry Brundle, I wasn't sure on the last name there, taught a long time. He was actually a government teacher. He says he supported both R's and D's. Almost 2/3 of the elections that he's voted has been for both parties. He says, I can't do that anymore because my party has moved away from me. Now, he did not specify which party, but he said that it is interesting that our makeup, right, is 2 Democrats, 9 Republicans. I'm not sure that's right. I thought it was 2 and 7 because there are 9 congressional districts. But anyway, according to him, that 20% of Democrats should reflect the votes. And according to the votes up and down the board, 54% Republican, 46% D. He said, now that's forgetting that's a very rough thing. So I understand what he's saying. That gerrymandering is cheating and none of you are cheaters. Come back when you're serious and have something to show. I'm not sure who that was. I missed the name on that one, but it's unfortunate because I really like that. Come back when you're serious and have something to show. There's no maps. There's no data. Nothing. Rita Smith said, I don't think anything will change. You'll do what you're told to and don't listen to we the people. And she mentioned that Soliday has been in way too long. There were several shots at Soliday. I will say this, and this is just my observation. The majority of the people up on that stage were paying attention. They were listening. A couple of them were not. A couple of them were playing on their phones. A couple of them were having discussions among themselves, stuff like that, instead of listening to the comments. I think that is very disrespectful. I'm not going to mention any names, but I do think it's disrespectful. Joanne Michael, but yeah, she did say, I didn't know anything about this process, right? This is the first one of these I've ever been to. And I was expecting at least potential maps. She did have an idea. Why not have the poli-sci, the political science departments, poli-sci, of the 2 great universities that we have here, do the maps, have it be part of their grade, have them work on it. Unfortunately, she believes that the legislature is focused on getting elected and getting their friends elected. And again, she references Soliday and says, we've watched you look at your phone, look at your watch, talk to people. That's very rude and disrespectful, according to her. Christine Hunsley really didn't say much. That their rep was on a committee that was in charge, or a certain rep is on a committee that was in charge of killing bills, right? They got rid of bills. And why should that person be involved in a process that's going to kind of choose who gets elected. It's a good point. But I mean, the legislators are the ones that draw the maps. The Supreme Court has ruled on this. Janine Harrison, she did bring up a good point. Janine did, and that is, why are these meetings held at 3:00 on a Friday? Most people work, right? We would like to see, and this is what she said, we'd like to see evenings and weekends, meetings that are accessible to the general public. We need maps and proposals released by September 20th, or the process needs to be extended because there's an October deadline. She said she knows of a number of races where there was no D on the ballot, and that shouldn't happen. We need the data and transparency. Sam Barloga mentioned that he likes the fact that Lake and Porter counties are kind of together in District 1, and that it was mentioned that it's because of the lakeshore and the park. Yeah, the park. That's why it was done that way. Let's see here. Oh, Amy Nundor. Again, I don't know if these names are accurate. They're as close as I could get. There was no spelling that was put up there, so I tried to be phonetic. No idea. She says she's lived in 6 states and 2 countries. She said Indiana isn't in the bottom in everything. The crowd was like, blah, 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 blah. They disagreed, just to summarize. A lot of people in the crowd were like, yes, it is. You need to do your research, blah, blah, blah. Basically, she says she's a single mom, and that she constantly hears, well, that's not fair. That's not fair. Unfortunately, no matter what you do, somebody's going to claim it's not fair. She believes in goodness and kindness in everyone, and that we have more in common than we think. I agree with that. She's hoping that the ultimate redistricting is fair. Margaret Willis, she's in Chesterton, grew up in an old school, our household. She said, I'm a Democrat, or grew up in an old school Republican household. And the parents strove for bipartisanship. Her mom worked with the Democrat precinct committee person. They walked hand in hand to make sure that everyone was registered to vote, everyone in their neighborhood. She did mention something, though, that I found quite interesting. She said, the reason for the Revolutionary War was taxation without representation, and that gerrymandering districts creates taxation without representation, and essentially be very careful. Let's see here. This was, I believe, Gerald Fitzpatrick, that gerrymandering is repressive, imploring to be fair. The proud Gary homeowner talked about how the maps were bad. Gerrymandering is to keep people like me oppressed and suppressed. 2021 is not Jim Crow. I will not go back to Jim Crow. I asked this committee to do the right thing. History hasn't been kind to Lake County. They're a child of a teacher and a steel worker, and that redistricting hasn't been fair. Excuse me. I will say this. It's interesting that they talk about how history has not been kind to Lake County. I hope that they actually go in and do the research as to who has been in charge of Lake County for a very, very long time, and the reason why Lake County is the way it is now. That's all I'm going to say on that. Let's see. Michelle Bartles, gerrymandering. Let's see here. According to her figures, 37% Democrat, 42% Republican, and 20% independent in the state of Indiana. That in that case, there should be more Democrats. But I'm just going to say this. There are many reasons for why certain parties get elected. One of them is that there are vocal members of certain parties that want to take us in, too far in one direction. So let's see here. Yeah, it's pretty much Oh, one thing that Chevron Washington from Gary said is that redistricting has traditionally been done behind closed doors, and that we would like to see stop. We would like to see a lot more transparency in the process. How did you come up with these figures? Why are you doing it the way you are? Explain it to us. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Fran Cross from Westville. This is actually a really interesting. I think that's the name. I don't know. It seemed to have, Fran Cross. Okay. So, one thing she said that's really interesting is she lives in Westville, but it's actually Porter County. So, she lives like just over the line into Porter County, but it's still Westville. So, she can't vote in LaPorte County elections. She can't vote in Westville stuff because she actually lives in Porter County. It's Valpo stuff affects her more, but she can't really vote in Valpo stuff because she doesn't live in Valparaiso. She lives in Porter. Let's see here. Let's get to some comments here. Jack says from concept to voting takes minimum 2 years in Indiana. Yeah. It takes an extraordinarily long amount of time for a bill to become law. Dave says redrawn districts couldn't be any worse than the district I lived in Maryland. It looks like a pterodactyl. Great work. Got to run. Take care, Jack. Dave says way past time to extend the total number of representatives capped by law. Time to rewrite the law. I agree with that. And for a variety of things. There's actually a movement that I'm going to talk more about on another video to do just that. But Nicholas, I didn't catch the last name, but Nicholas got up and asked a simple question. Do you think it's possible for a partisan group to create a nonpartisan map? It's a good question. Tony Iddings got up and asked or said, this wasn't what I was expecting. I expected to learn how this process works. I expected to come here and be explained, hey, we're planning on doing this. This is how it's going to work. And this is very different than what I thought. That's about it. It was a couple of progressive Democrats of, I don't know, LaPorte County, Lake County, various ones that basically, you're gerrymandering, stop it. There was a lot of that. That's essentially the gist of it. You're more than welcome if you can find the video. Like I said, watch it. It was from 3 to about 5:30 or so, maybe even longer. It went for a while. They said they actually ran over by quite a bit, and luckily, I don't think Ivy Tech had anything else planned after that. But to their credit, they let everyone that wanted to speak. I didn't. I got nothing else to add to that. I mean, really, we can talk about how the districts are drawn and the fact that some of these are a giveaway. First district, for example, etc. But we all know that. Hopefully, I'm really, really hoping that they do a good job with this. I hope that they examine this. There is one more thing that I want to share with you that I personally think is absolutely hilarious. If you made it this far, it's not just hilarious. It's terrifying as well. But I'd be interested to see how many. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let me preface this by giving you the disclaimer. This is not a real thing. This is a California, if you haven't seen this, it is a California gubernatorial candidate created a website, and it is AURS, Anonymous Unvaccinated Reporting System. This, before we go any further, you need to know this is satire, he claims, but there's a little more to it than satire. Welcome to the future. Earn extra cash. Report unvaccinated family, friends, and neighbors, FFNs, anonymously online. Every name you submit gives you a chance to win $2,500 in our monthly sweepstakes. File a report. The AURS is a non-government agency. Names provided will be submitted to local county health authorities. Find out more about our team in the About section. And then there's the message for the visually impaired. I don't know if you've seen this, but basically you go to file a report, right? And it asks, okay, what's your name, address? What's the name of the person you want to report, address? And then when you get all the way to the end, there's a disclaimer that says, are you seriously reporting on your neighbors? I didn't go all the way through it, but I can get to, let's see here. Okay, so when you go all the way down, disclaimer, the AURS is a satirical critique by political candidate David Alexander Bramante in association with his campaign, David Bramante for Governor 2021. David is hoping to point out how dangerously close our society is to having a company like AURS exist, and a world where friends, family, and neighbors are reporting each other to authorities. The emergency orders and government mandates must end, especially those involving vaccinations. David is the only candidate not accepting donations for his bid as California governor. Please help get David elected, blah, 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 blah. But it's this whole thing. Unless you scroll all the way down, it's, in my opinion, and again, my personal opinion, I think it's genius. I think it's absolutely genius. How many people went to this? Like I said, I'd love to see the stats on exactly how many people went to this website, how many people filled it out, how many people said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to report on my friends, family, and neighbors." Why? Just because, or because they thought they would get $2,500? Does it matter? Like, are you serious right now? Why? I can't find the right light. Why are people doing this? I should put it this way: enough people ran across it and filled it out for them to get upset that it wasn't a real thing. And that in and of itself is absolutely terrifying. It's terrifying. We've seen this in the past. We have seen New York, for example, gave the reporting system. Now, the interesting thing is it had to get shut down because of all the prank texts and calls that they received, which personally I think is hilarious. Why are you reporting people for not wearing a mask? Why are you reporting people because they chose a certain decision for their medical health that's different than yours? Grow up. Like, seriously, grow up and mind your own damn business. Like, this used to be a country where people minded their own damn business. If it doesn't affect you, why are you worried about it? Like, grow up. There are so many snowflakes, so many people, and on both sides. I'm not restricting it to one political party. There are a lot of snowflakes out there. People that are just triggered by absolutely everything. But what can you do? Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I wanted to give you I think a pretty comprehensive note-taking experience on this meeting. Ultimately, it was just a chance for the public to say what's on their mind to these people. There's no actionable intel at this time. We have representatives who are going to get the census data and start working on the map. I'm really hoping that they're going to have another public comment meeting after they have some maps that they can present, 3 or 4, right? Have us look at them, have us, at least talk about it. But the likelihood of that, let's be honest. So, all right. Thanks everybody for hanging out. God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. Sorry. Forgot one thing. So tomorrow, Saturday at 11 a.m. in Hanna, Indiana, there will be the Hanna Fest. Liz and I will be there. We'll be in the parade. come hang out, check us out. If you want to, you want to stop and chat, but when the parade's over, I am more than happy to sit and chat and talk to you. So yeah, we're going to be there. There's also the Michigan City Fest, I guess, all this weekend in Michigan City. So there's tons of stuff to do, guys. No reason to sit at home and be bored. So thanks again. Talk to you all soon.